All right, sweet.
We're going to send you an ebook of this called The Art of Entrepreneurial Outsourcing. I'm going to get Maddie to drop in a link. The author's fucking knows his shit at this stuff. Trust me. Here is the book. So when I wrote this, it is designed to be a guide to 100 mission. This is the first one I wrote and I was bored, and it was just a simple 100 ways style book. When you get it, the things I would suggest you look at would be the first 36 pages, right? If you want to read part of it, and we'll come back to why in a sec. The rest of it is, if I just scroll down to how each one's laid out for a sec, it's on 2 pages because it was designed to be read as a real book, not as an ebook. So you'll see each one has, here's what you can do. You can have them write articles, or let's find something that might be more relevant. Fact checking. You have a credible reference if you want to do a speech somewhere. Event planning. So you want to run an event. Here's your result. Here's your summary. Each one is on 2 pages. So you can see the task is laid out the same for every task throughout the book, and each task only takes 2 pages, and it's set out the same way for all 100 tasks, right? Where to go? When you look through the index, here are some of the things that this is just in this book. And don't forget, I wrote this 2015 when I first stepped back from Dynamic. And these are the things that were relevant then. Transcription and notes. I would take handwritten notes in a meeting, take a photo, send them off, have them written up for me. Dictation, travel arrangements. I need to go here. Can you organize me this? Calendar appointments, email management, data entry. I'm just going to start to skip through some of the ones that I see that jump out for you guys. Gift shopping. You're too busy to, I need something perfect for the missus or the kids. Building a database of clients. Perfect one. Like, we've got a video on the portal that shows you, if you want to work for builders, super easy, because every state in Australia covers how to do it. In fact, we've already looked at that as to how you come in and find that in one of the early ones, where you go, here's how you find builders. They can do that for you. If you want to go, okay, I'm looking for homeowners in the area. I want a list of every person who has bought a house in the last 6 months within 30 kilometers of this area. Put them on realestate.com.au, get them to search the area, the historical data, and come up with the houses. Then set a criteria. Any of them that say renovators delight, fixer upper, straight away, you go up there. Any of them, like if you're a landscaper, I'd say you contact all of them. But most of them are probably going to want some stuff done as they come in. Unless it says fully renovated, then that's someone who you may want to contact. You won't necessarily get the person's name. You can if you go to land data and pay for it, but you can go, in fact, it might be worth doing that, paying for a subscription to land data, getting the person's name. You've got their address because you've sent it on realestate.com, and you literally get them to create you a database of people that you can send a letter to as marketing. Hey, notice you bought a house in the area recently. If you're thinking of doing any renovations or changes, that's our specialty. We are in this area. We're happy to give you a bunch of references, and we're happy to give you a quote. And they can do what is hours and hours and hours of work for you, going through realestate.com.au and then going through land data and then picking people's addresses and then, mail merging it, ready to print and send. When you get bigger, having a staff newsletter to tell you what's going on. Payroll processing, timesheet management. I would definitely say, if you've got guys on different sites, using their smartphone, that takes not a lot, but it takes a little bit of regular management. Hang on, we always set it to be that if they were starting at 7, if they clocked on at 6:30, that was great, but it obviously wound them 4 to 7 because they're generally having a look and thinking about it. I wanted to know that started early, but they didn't get paid until their start time. But if they forgot to clock on, how do you manage that? If they clocked off at 7 o'clock, but their GPS pins at home, everyone else clocked off at 3:30 or 4:30. Okay, well, you got to check that, go through the process. It's a pain. And again, you can have your bookkeeper or someone in your office do it, You can have someone offshore do it who's going to be 15 or 20% of the cost. Managing rosters, staff engagement, seeing how they're going. Recruitment is a really good one, especially if you guys are advertising or if you want to headhunt, conducting interviews, testing profile, reference checking. Video editing, emails. So if you want to do email marketing to your database of potential clients as to what you guys are doing, having them prepare that, do some research on articles, even take photos of your jobs and what's going on, and do them up so they look good. All that sort of stuff can be done by people who, anything done in an office basically, but this is just to give you an idea. If you need a new logo, I used to say business cards, but I don't know I don't really use business cards anymore. Any marketing collateral, any social media posts to be put up or replies, like there's just so much you can do. Following up with quotes, hey, how'd we go with that? Which is just massively impacts your win rate, just making sure that sort of follow-up is done. They can do, whether they're answering calls for you or booking calls, checking in with clients as to how they went satisfaction-wise. There's just so many things. You wouldn't enter receipts anymore. You'd use HubDoc, but they can make sure, because when, every time I go somewhere, I pay on one of the company cards. First thing I do is pull up the phone, pull up HubDoc and take a photo of it. That's great. It auto reads that and it puts in what it thinks, but sometimes it gets it wrong. No matter what I buy from a chemist is health and safety. It was sunscreen or sunglasses because that's just what I put it as, so you can. If you go to freaking Chemist Warehouse ever, they have this big thing on the bottom, you save this amount, and it always says, oh, the GST must be that amount, because it just misreads it. So someone has to actually check and make sure it's right, and then put it into the correct category for zero, and then hit submit. Okay, it's a task that needs to be done. Once it's set up, it just happens, and the HubDoc takes away a huge part of that time, but it still needs to happen. And rather than pay a local bookkeeper, if you haven't got one, you can have someone doing this for you. Your financial reports, your budgeting, forecasting, making sure your zeros reconciled. If you haven't got a website, or if you want your website updated, absolutely, I'll be doing that offshore. If you want apps, software, architectural designs, interior decorating, if you want to put stuff in CAD drawings, you have them do CAD 3D walkthroughs for clients, especially if you're working directly for homeowners, to go, look, here's the plans. Do you want to see what it looks like? Having someone very cheaply put that into a 3D walkthrough in CAD that costs you bugger all compared to what it costs someone in Australia is the sort of things you can outsource. Have a look through there if you want ideas.